Alright, I'm going to show you how to change your headlight bulbs on your Honda Accord. This is a 2001 Honda Accord. I'm going to be changing out the headlight bulbs to some LED ones. Currently they're using halogens. So I got some LED headlights here on Amazon. I'll put a link in the video description for them. You may need a small Phillips head screwdriver if you're having trouble getting the headlights out. I'll show you later about that. Also, sometimes you have to take the battery out to get access to where you take the headlights out, so you might need a 10mm socket to take the battery out, or a 10mm wrench. This is kind of a wrench slash socket hybrid thing. It's a good idea to wear gloves when you're doing this, because you don't want to get any grease or oil on the LEDs or on the halogen headlight bulbs themselves. Cool. Low beams are this right here, and the high beams are the ones that is closer. So we're first going to start with the low beams, and hopefully you can see that. The way you get this out is you turn it counterclockwise. So turn it that way and then pull out. And the thing is, if you have trouble turning this, there's a little screw right here. The flashlight's probably in the way here. There are some little screws, Phillips head, that you may need to untighten. That may be preventing trying to get the best view here for you. But yeah, that looks like, but you may need to untighten this screw here to get the headlight off. So you may or may not need to do that, but I don't need to do that with this one. You pull it out, and just be careful. It's a glass bulb. And this is where you might want to take this battery out, because it would make it easier. Try to get a little leverage, or wiggle room, I should say. Yeah, that might be an easier way of doing it. Basically pull the bulb up while I push this little tab down. There we go. Finally got it. Sometimes you just have to wiggle it. Say 9006 on the tag. So we want to put that in there, turning it counterclockwise. If it's too loose, you want to probably tighten it up with this screw right here. Tighten up the screw a little bit, maybe. And you're done with that one. So if you need more room to work, you can take the battery out. So I'll just show you how to do that, because sometimes it's hard to get down in here to get the light bulb out. I mean, I've taken these out before, so that's why it was easier to get them out, but sometimes it's pretty tricky and you just need more room to work. So you're going to need a 10mm socket here to undo the negative side of the battery. So just loosen that and get that out of the way. Do the same thing with the positive side. Just loosen that cable. Then we need to take off the bracket that holds the battery on, and you can use also the 10mm. For this one, I'm going to have to use like a pass-through socket, which is basically like a wrench. You know, you can use a box inch wrench for this as well. So 10mm to get this off here. And down there it kind of like hooks there, right there. It hooks
And the same thing on the other side, you loosen it with a 10mm wrench or socket, and now you get it loose, take this out, and that'll allow us to pull the battery out. And then also we can just pull this container. So now we should definitely have a lot more wiggle room to work if that was an issue. And you can also take out this reservoir as well by pulling up. Let's take the bright bulb out. These are your brights, your high beams are right here. By turning it counterclockwise, and if you can't move it, you can use your short Phillips head to loosen the screw. That's right there. Sometimes you got to do that in order for it to move. So we'll loosen these screws up a little bit so that it moves, so that we can get it out. There you go. Now that I got it out, so turning it counterclockwise after you loosen the screws a little bit. And then we'll pull it out. And that's your high beam. The high beam doesn't have the little paint on the top of it. So that's one way of telling them apart. So be careful not to touch the bulb, which is why you want to wear gloves if possible. So for this, each one of these, you push down on this tab there and you pull up on the bulb. And out it comes. And we're going to take our LED replacement bulb. This is a 9005. And we're going to stick it in here. And I believe you want the bulb to be basically in this orientation with both of the LEDs facing right and left. You don't want it to be like this in there. You want it to be like that. So you kind of have to put it in there so that when you turn it clockwise, it's going to be like that. And then we will plug it into the harness here. Put that cable back so that when you put the battery on, the battery's not sitting on the connector. Alright, I'm probably going to tighten these screws a little bit more, because I don't want the bulb to kind of rattle around. So I'll probably tighten these up a little bit. You might want the LED to move around a lot. Now if you look inside there, we should see the flat. We should see that the LED part is facing outward or horizontal. You don't want it in the other way around. You don't want the LED parts to be facing up or down. You want them to be facing left and right. So I guess it reflects properly. I mean, I think that's what the instructions said. Alright, moving on to the driver's side, we're going to do the exact same thing here. We're going to twist this counterclockwise to take it out. We may need to loosen one of these screws if it's too tight and it won't come out. There we go. 5, so that goes where our high beams are. And you can probably move this tank if it's in your way. Yeah, it looks like there's a bracket right there with a screw, so you could probably move that if you have trouble getting it out. So, put this one in here. Hey, big tab. Got a little assistant here helping me out. This is Big Tab. It's kind of a neighborhood cat. Be careful, you're gonna get hit, kitty. He's helping me out today on some repairs. Tighten those screws up a little bit. Alright, now we'll plug it back into the wiring harness. Now we're going to work on the low beam, which is right here. Ah, there we go. Got it. I'm sorry, counterclockwise, not clockwise. Get these up. There we go. Got it. Put the last LED one in. It is a 9006. Alright, now that we've got it twisted in, we're gonna connect it to the harness, which is right here. And connect it to the harness. Alright, last step, putting the battery back in. We're going to put this thing, which is the thing that holds it in the car, in here. Now you have to hook the little hook piece. See that little thing? You got to hook it on there like that, and then tighten this part down and do the same thing over here. It might be a little bit difficult to see over here. But you have to basically, there, that one's now hooked. And there we go. We've got both headlights on right now, the brights and the low beams. So if I turn the brights off, just the low beams on, that's what it looks like.